Yeah, so the new Star Trek series, Strange New Worlds, came out like 2 weeks ago now. And we just saw this is the first 2 episodes. And I guess it's not terrible.
I really hate the first episode, but the second episode I enjoyed. I hated the first one.
Okay. I was kind of meh about the first episode. The second, I was also mostly meh. Like, it was kind of mixed. Like, they both had some interesting concepts.
Right.
But the execution fell flat. So the Strange New Worlds is supposed to be like Star Trek proper, where the Enterprise and crew go and explore strange new worlds. Not like in Discovery or Picard, where they have like an overarching story. This is more, I guess, episodic. It's supposed to be.
Well, yeah, I think it looks like it's probably going to have something overarching, but yeah, it's pretty episodic. Like you'll have a full story in each episode.
Yeah, this is a prequel series to the original series, and I guess sequel to Enterprise. So it's in between those two.
Well, it's also like inside of, because they got a whole lot of series going on. It's inside of Discovery as well.
Yeah, like it's the Abrams universe, or no, what's his name?
Yeah, the Abrams universe. Oh, but the guy who comes from the Abrams universe, Alex Kurtzman.
Kurtzman. Yeah, this is
because he wrote the first one.
This is the Kurtzman universe of Trek. Like in all, like the writers of Discovery and Picard are writing for Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, and Akiva Goldman actually is the guy who directed the first episode. Is a big artistic force here, and he did a lot of stuff too. He screen wrote for Batman Forever and Batman and Robin and iRobot. He's not known for being like a good, basically. He sort of has the same reputation for it being bad, like Alex Kurtzman does.
But somehow at least the first 2 episodes turned out to be not terrible exactly.
Still, I say the first one's terrible, but the second one's okay.
I mean, like relatively speaking.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So in this new series, then they're just going out. Like the first one, he sent on a specific mission, then what? And then they sort of have, I forget if they say your mission is to just mess around.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, I don't know if they said in the first episode like, and now you're on a 5-year mission or what? Because in the second episode, they're just sort of like in the area and they happen to discover the comet. Yeah, so I don't know, where did they actually give him like the mission of the show then?
I actually don't remember.
Yeah, I can't. Maybe they said in a line at the end, now you're just out there. Or he just came back as the captain. Because, well, before we get into it too much. Yeah, he's like, well, we can probably get into the pilot.
Yeah.
He's starting out the series as, well, he's sort of like the retired gunslinger type thing. Or even like James Bond in his last 20 movies, where he's always retired at the beginning of the movie. But here he's just on a break until Enterprise is refit.
Yeah. So this, because it's I guess a spin-off of Discovery. In Discovery, they had Captain Pike, Christopher Pike.
Oh, that's right.
Who was featured in the second season.
He was basically the second actor in the second season.
And in that series, he goes to a time planet that shows you your future.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the whole big thing of the series is that sort of a countdown to his maiming, basically.
Yeah.
In the fire.
And of course, any Trek fans will know that he ends up getting horribly mutilated by radiation, and he has to be in that chair where he can only beep.
So I guess this whole series is about how he gets horribly burned.
Well, no, I think it's going to happen at the end of the series. Because they say he gets 10 years. Like, it's going to happen 10 years in his future.
Yeah, so it really depends on how popular the series is, I guess.
Yes. But yeah, so he's sort of dealing with that during the pilot episode.
That's interesting now. Yeah, 10 years is probably what they want out of a show nowadays.
Yeah. I don't think they will get 10 years out of it, but
I don't know. They already got 5 or 4 just finished for Discovery, or we're on the 4th one for Discovery already. Like it's someone's watching these.
Maybe they will. I don't
Yeah. It baffles me, but somebody's watching.
Yeah. But anyway, well, the episode starts out with a Federation ship makes first contact with a pre-warp civilization who just invented warp.
Actually, it actually starts with its Marvel logo at the beginning.
Oh yeah, that.
Because I didn't know. I thought it was starting with like the theme song, and then it wasn't it, and it turned out to be a Star Trek logo, just a general Star Trek logo, and so yeah, it's like their Marvel thing at the beginning. So IPs now have their own logo as well as production companies.
Yeah, like I saw shows have to have that now. They have to be like their own universe now.
Well, actually, right now, because Star Trek basically has it so that there's a new episode every week now. Anyway, I think like there's no breaks anymore. I think that's what they're going to try to do for the next 10 years. Because actually, they didn't even wait for Picard to end this time.
But yeah, they appear in the sky over.
So it's a UFO. No, wait, it's the Enterprise.
Yeah, like it starts out.
Oh no, it's the Archer.
Or is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's the Archer they lost contact from.
that was the ship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they said we sent your second command over there, and then we lost contact with the Archer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's right. And then where'd the Archer go then?
I assume it's destroyed, and the rest of the crew were
right.
killed off.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, so there's your first little reference to Star Trek past.
Yeah. But
The
yeah.
Archer.
Yeah, like the scene is like in this bunker on this alien planet, and then like a general turns around and revealed that it's actually an alien, and then the picture comes on the screen. It's actually a Federation ship, and then it cuts to the intro,
Yeah.
which is like the song is the original series song sort of remixed.
Yeah, that's actually I said there doesn't seem to be a theme. Like it wasn't like a theme song. It was just sort of like noise, regular background noise actually.
Yeah.
For their theme song, you know, like things you'd have going on in the background as like someone's talking.
Yeah.
Not as like not like the blaring horns in all the other Star Trek series that are really in your face and it's like here's the theme to the series. But I guess it's a different time now.
Yeah, then we meet up with Christopher Pike at his home in
Supposedly Montana, but probably shot in Alberta or just outside of Toronto where they are and CG.
the Montana part of Alberta.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, I saw that they had those mountains there and that windmill, but you could probably nowadays you could just as easily CG that stuff like that spaceship that comes in. So they could have shot that in a soundstage even.
Yeah.
Because actually, if you look at TVs for the last 15 years, actually most of it's been green screen for a very long time. Television.
Yeah.
Like even like hospital dramas. Like when you see them outside in a single shot outside waiting for a bus. It's actually just a green screen set they're on. So yeah, this is something they've been using for a long time. So it may not have been shot anywhere near a mountain.
Yeah. But he's like just at home with his wife or whoever that was.
I thought it was his daughter.
Was it?
Well, I don't know. It doesn't sound like it anymore when they start talking. But like he's very gray and old looking. And then this young woman who looks like she's in her mid-20s walks in. It's like, oh, it must be her daughter. But it's not. I don't think it sounds like they're... Or I don't know, actually. They didn't say.
Yeah, well, they talk about something.
Yeah.
I don't remember what. Like most.
Well, they talk about what's upsetting you, being a jerk since
Oh yeah.
you came back.
Yeah, he's
Because he has 10 years till... He doesn't even die after 10 years. He just gets burned.
yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though. It seems like... I don't know exactly... I know what he's upset about, but I don't know how that would stall you. Because if you know that... Because he saw that. He's going to get burned. He knows the names of the people who's going to be with him when it happens. He knows he's going to be healthy when it happens. So that means, until then, he's basically invincible. Because the time crystals are the fates, apparently, of the Star Trek universe.
Yeah.
So he's basically invincible until then. So he could... What I said here is, like, if there's a warp core about to explode, all he has to do is run into the room, maybe... And then there'll be a chance he'll live for sure, and maybe other people will live. Or maybe everyone else will get burned, but, like, if there's something dangerous, maybe put them in there. Maybe it'll become less dangerous.
Maybe somehow it'll work itself out.
Because apparently the time crystals have already weaved the fabric of the
Yeah.
universe, like the fates, you know? Or not, because they always keep saying, well, fate's not real or something in Star Trek all the time and in the show.
Well, I think the second episode is where they had like the fate thing,
Yeah.
where I think it's like everything is inevitable.
Yeah, and then he eventually gets picked up and says, you're second in command.
Yeah, like there's this admiral trying to contact him, but he keeps hanging up on him. And eventually, like he comes in on a shuttle and like scares his horse.
Yeah.
But like, what's one thing that kind of bothers me about the shows is like whenever you see somebody on a shuttle, it's like, why? Because like transporters exist.
Yeah, doesn't he like take a look at the ship and then transport onto it? Because he goes up
Yeah.
into space and he doesn't. I don't know if he says I want to take one look at it or not from the outside. I don't think he says that or anything.
No.
He just because like they have this shot in the Star Trek movie, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of it, he boards the ship from the shuttle.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
no, it's
this-
like the admiral's like you.
It still suffers from the usual like modern television of like they want to do something but they don't fit it into the rest of the show properly.
Yeah.
It's like we want to take a look at the Enterprise, but instead of just saying like in the movie, oh, there's a transport malfunction, so we'll just have you come through the shuttle. They just nonsensically have him on the ship. Why did he even go on the ship in the first place? As you said with the other guy too.
Yeah.
If you're just going to transport anyway onto it.
Yeah. Like he takes a shuttle, like to see him, tell him he has to come out of retirement.
Yeah.
And then he takes a shuttle up to where the ship is in the shipyard, and then he transports from that shuttle to the Enterprise.
Yeah.
So it's like, why bother with the shuttle then?
Exactly.
Like, what? Yeah.
Yeah. And then what does he do after that? Because I have on here, it's like not your regular captain, because he does some stuff where he's like, not your regular captain.
Like, he's not your typical, because he's nicer. Like,
I'm
he's-
trying to see if I'm looking at my first episode notes or my second episode notes, actually. Those are my second episode notes.
But I guess he's like the cool dean
Yeah.
kind of captain. He's like the dean from the Simpsons episode when Homer goes back to college.
Yeah, but I like Jason Isaacs, probably my favorite captain out of the newest captains. Because he was like a bad guy, so he had an edge. He was different from everyone, like
Yeah.
actual different, not like I don't like ranks or whatever,
Yeah.
which is like all of them. Like even Janeway's like, call me ma'am, not sir. Like everyone's like, not your regular Starfleet officer. So that's what I liked about him. He was actually not your regular Starfleet officer because he was crazy.
Yeah, he was more brutal
Yeah.
because he turns out.
Well,
to be
but the other
from
thing was, well, he was brutal when he became the bad guy, but
Oh yeah.
he was a sensible captain. He just was a bit dark.
I mean, yeah.
Like he wasn't like an actual bad guy at the when he was a captain.
Like, he wasn't acting like a psychopath.
Yeah, well, yeah, like he acted like a psychopath when he blew up his first ship, but then he stopped acting like a psychopath in between blowing up his first ship and going back to the evil universe.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, like everything he did made it, like, it looked harsh, but it still was sensible.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then we go on to Spock,
Oh yeah.
and then that annoying like, isn't it funny when people use formal words in emotional scenes?
Yeah, that is funny.
Yeah.
The first time I saw it when I was a little kid.
It's a joke I'm not against, it's just that they execute it in a way that's like, see what we're doing?
I know.
Aren't Vulcans weird? It just didn't come off right to me.
Yeah, but with this Spock too,
Yeah.
the one that laughs all the time.
Oh yeah, especially at the end of this episode, or not the
Or
second
yeah.
episode. And then, oh yeah, and then they kiss, and the waiter's like, "Get a room."
Yeah. Because you're not allowed to kiss on Vulcan.
Yeah,
At least not in public.
yeah. So Spock's getting married, and it sounds like it's not going to work out because he's not married in the show. Oh no! Or is she the one who gets the
Yeah, she
person
was,
to kill Spock? And
Yeah, she was the one who tried to turn his best friend against Spock. Or no, I mean, tried to turn Kirk against Spock to have them fight each other, and then so he can get them, she can get them out of the way, so they can marry this other guy.
yeah, yeah, and then he kills Kirk, and then he's sad about that's in this original
Yeah, because
episode
of his
series.
Pon farr thing.
And then he says Jim, and he's very happy when he finds out that he didn't kill, brutally murder his friend in a fit of horny rage.
See that? Yeah, because that was like the thing about what was good about the original Spock. Like he was extremely stoic and logical most of the time, and like whenever he shows any monochrome of emotion, like that's a big deal.
Well, that's the thing, yeah.
But this Spock is like every episode he like laughs or sings or does something.
I liked how I think the Vulcans are done best on Voyager. Because that's where they had, because Tuvok was like a Vulcan where because the Vulcans are supposed to be like psychos, but they suppress it.
Right.
And that's where I think they show it the best.
Well, I think
Is
they
in
have.
Voyager. There's this one episode where there's like the telepaths who like crave violent thoughts and
Yeah.
imagery, and so she goes after the Klingon, thinking Klingons are psycho, so they gotta have the worst violent imagery. But it's not enough for them, and then Spock's like, or not Spock, Tuvok's like, yo, you want psycho imagery? Well, take a look at a Vulcan's mind. And that's the thing, like Vulcans aren't logical; they're grafting logic onto their psychotic minds. So basically, like there is an underlying tension, and I like it when they show it.
Yeah. Well, I think because like Voyager is the only other Star Trek show that had a Vulcan in it.
Well, and also Star Trek was on for like 15 years at that point, so that they just naturally developed them more.
And so yeah, Spock gets called away from his fiance.
Oh, they made yeah. And they make sure they mention his dead sister again, because I forgot about it.
Oh yeah.
And then they forget about it after that too. Actually.
Yeah. So the Enterprise has to go rescue the Archer that disappeared over this pre-warp civilization, and then we start. I guess we meet the rest of the crew.
Yeah, they
Like
Well, for this episode, because I really didn't like this episode. The second episode, the crew was a bit better for me. Well, they're the same crew, but I think
guess they had more.
because they didn't do the. No, it's really because they were really stupid in this episode
Yeah.
with a lot of things they did in First Contact, and they were less stupid, I guess, annoyingly stupid in the second episode.
Well, there was a pretty big stupid thing that happened in the next episode.
Oh, can you quickly tell me, because I may have
I guess-
missed it.
When the Shepherd aliens, they were like, maybe next time don't judge.
Oh,
people
that's
for
what I
their
did
beliefs.
like, because Star Trek is way up.
Well, that was very stupid because the comet was going to kill all those people, and well, we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But no, I just want to see if I missed something. But yeah, so yeah, there's these new characters. They're all fun and young and everything.
I don't remember a single name.
Yeah.
That's how memorable they are.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So apparently, this society, though, they found warp technology, but the twist is they can't do warp yet.
But
they
there
just have
is-
the power of it.
Yes, but there is the one who I think is going to be the next Michael Burnham.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because she's like the best at everything and knows exactly what to do in every situation.
Who's that?
The security lady.
Oh yeah. Kirk was like that too, though. Was best at everything all the time.
Yeah, but that's the captain. It's
Yeah.
Kirk. He's got to be.
Yeah.
Or
Or Riker too, I guess.
yeah, but I mean, they still had character. Like
Yeah.
they still had flaws. Like even Data, like he was like probably the best at like everything except being human, and that was the one thing he was striving for.
Vulnerability is always important with a character, because then that's what actually connects you to them.
Yeah, and there's struggles. Like
Yeah.
even Spock, like he had that struggle of having to like work with all these illogical, stupid monkeys.
Yeah. But yeah, this warp technology, so they make weapons out of them. They don't know how to do travel, and apparently they got it from season 2 when they saw
Right.
the spaceship in space.
Yeah, they had really, really good
The Discovery.
telescopes
Yeah.
that watched the Discovery go back in time through that black hole thing.
Yeah.
And like I guess it was like so good it could like see all the small circuitry inside of the ships, so they were able to
Yeah. Exactly.
they were able to like reverse engineer what they saw in like a couple of months or whenever
They
the series
mentioned
started.
nuclear energy, and they're like comparing like finding nuclear energy, which is interesting because like nuclear energy, like warp, yeah, antimatter. That's what this energy is, isn't it? Antimatter. Yeah, because like it's in order to travel great distances, you'd probably need a great amount of energy.
Yeah.
So like I feel like when they're talking about they discovered warp too soon, I feel like that's us with nuclear energy, where it's like we found unlimited energy, but we don't really know how to use it properly without killing ourselves.
Yeah,
but so far, all we figured out was blowing things up and powering iPods and things like that.
Yeah, like, well, the first time, what was it? The first, when they discovered nuclear energy, the first thing they made was a bomb?
Well, yeah, that's how they found it, was trying to split an atom to make it explode a lot.
Yeah. So it's kind of the same situation with this civilization.
Yeah.
You know, they're like at war, like half the planet's at war with the other half.
So the other interesting thing is then what can we do with nuclear technology we just haven't figured out yet either? Well, can we warp speed somewhere? We just haven't cracked that code yet with nuclear energy.
I mean, like it produces a lot of energy.
Yeah. Sorry, go on what you're saying.
And yeah, so this okay, I don't remember the name of the civilization either.
Whatever.
Because that's how interested I was in the episode.
Well, they were sort of like, it wasn't really about them, really. It was about the captain deciding to stay in Starfleet. Yeah. So that's my problem. Real problem with this show is that they didn't do a real proper pilot. They did sort of like what they did with that Seth MacFarlane show, the Orville.
Orville, yeah.
In that pilot, they sort of had like this little like thing happening with an alien race that's sort of more like an afterthought than the actual show. And I found that kind of annoying.
Yeah.
And it didn't really work properly for me, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then.
Where was I?
Oh. Well, they have to go down. I guess they decide to go down to rescue their friends, and they genetically engineer themselves.
Right. So they. The reason why the Archer was going to make first contact is because they detected a warp engine signature on their planet. So they thought, well, they must have warp capabilities now. We better go introduce ourselves. But then it turns out it's not actually a warp engine, it's a warp bomb.
Well, actually thinking about it again, that's kind of interesting, because I wonder if that'd be like, say UFO in it, I wonder if that's sort of like the Aliens too, where it's like, there's this big nuclear energy thing we're seeing on Earth. They go there, it's like, oh, maybe they found super space travel. They go down to Earth and find, oh no, it's just bombs. All right, we'll turn around. Yeah. So that's why they haven't talked to us yet, because we haven't. Oh, wait a minute. Those aliens are far more. If it's okay, this is a big leap, but if it's true, we found special technology before we should have with nuclear energy. Then the aliens were far more responsible than Captain Pike, who decides, well, they found the energy, so I'm just going to mess around with them now. The alien so far hasn't just come down onto Earth and said, all right. Now you're part of the Federation. We're going to show you how to behave.
Stop fighting.
Yeah. But we're getting maybe a little ahead of ourselves.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, then they go, or no, they have to disguise themselves.
Yeah, in TNG, they used plastic surgery, didn't they?
Yes.
And didn't mess around with their genomes?
No.
Because my guess is you're going to have a lot, because yeah, so in order to get down and disguise themselves, they have their genome technician blast them with genomes and their face turns into alien faces.
She injects them with science juice, which turns their genes into the alien genes.
Which I think would have a million more different side effects than plastic surgery.
Yes.
Especially in the future where plastic surgery is probably perfect now.
Yes.
Because like they even mention it, it's like, well, your genome's kind of effed up, so you're going to need more shots, and it's going to really hurt.
Yeah, what Spock is.
So the show tells us right there, this is a bad idea, and they do it anyway.
Well, they could have just gave Spock prosthetics.
Exactly. And that's the first instance of they did a stupid thing just so they could have Spock scream.
Yes. Again.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they've tried to. Yeah, so they're on the planet now, and they need to infiltrate this government building because they detect the people in there.
So they need clothing.
Yeah. No, they're like sort of like standing outside the door. And then these two scientists walk out, and then the security lady was like, "Oh no, I'm fainted. Help me, scientists!" And says, "Hey, Spock, pinch them
And
while I distract them."
yeah, and then they're like, now we can take their clothes and replicate them.
Did they take their clothes?
Well, they didn't take them off. What she said was, we're going to replicate the clothes now. We can get the...
Oh.
Which I'm assuming, couldn't you just scan them as they walked by or something? Like, why did you have to knock them out? And that's the second instance.
Because we had to show that the
stupid thing for the sake of...
Yeah, we had to show that our security lady is the best at everything and knows exactly what to do in all situations.
I don't think it's even that. It's just that they want it, because it's Spock who actually, like, pinches them.
Yeah, but she has to tell Spock to pinch them.
And then she has the stupidest, but she is so wrong though, and this is where I really hated the episode, where they went, well, beam him up.
Oh yeah.
And the captain's like, is that a good idea? And she's like, yeah. And the captain's like, well, all right. So the captain already knew that this was a bad idea. Everyone said this was a bad idea, and they just did it anyway. And guess what? The obvious thing that would happen happened. The guy woke up and ran around the ship. I mean, that's why I hated this episode. It seemed like it was going to do more Discovery stuff like that, you know? Like nonsense like that.
Like they needed a comedy sequence. So the guy...
And so they had to do a stupid move.
Yeah.
That completely destroys the credibility. That's what happens when you do that. You destroy the credibility of your character, and you can't take them seriously.
Yes, they abduct two scientists from the new civilizations against their will.
But you know what? Forget the security person. How dumb is the captain to say okay?
Yeah. Yes.
The person who's ultimately responsible for what's happening.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So, like...
Well, it's a different kind
like
of
Picard would never do that, would he?
Not Next Generation Picard.
See, what...
No,
but
he wanted to kill a guy who was...
Oh, yeah, the old Picard, I meant, not the new one.
Yeah. No, that he was willing to let a guy die because he saw them.
Yeah.
In that one episode where this civilization thought he was.
Anyway, that's obvious negligence on his part, and that would totally get them a TRB.
Yes.
There's... Oh yeah. So, but the other thing is, I didn't necessarily mind the fact that they did the comedy sequence. Mm-hmm. It's just that they did it wrong, and I think it'd be very easy writing just to like go, oh no, they're kind of hurt. We better make sure they're okay. Yeah. So we'll put them up in there. There you go.
Something like that.
And then so
something where they're
doing it for a compassionate reason and not a stupid reason.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you can transform to the sick bay and they're okay, you can also just transform back to their office or something, you know? Okay, you don't know where their office is, but you can just transform away to somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, that's safe. You could probably find the lobby of the place and just put them there, you know? Or in a bathroom stall or something. And they'll go, oh, what did I eat? And then...
and he meets Uhura.
Yeah.
This alien scientist guy meets Uhura.
She doesn't get much in this episode.
Yeah. Then they talk about sports.
Yeah, or whatever.
And that's how the scene... Oh, and like, gets ambushed by the nurse who shoots him with the sleep juice.
So yeah, I said here, this is they make characters stupid for the sake of the plot.
Yeah.
That's what RLM says all the time.
Well then, the gene therapy starts wearing off on Spock. So they have to beam in a contact lens straight into his eye.
Yeah. And then... Oh yeah, but then the people they're trying to trick figure it out anyway.
Yeah.
And they punch him.
And then... Yeah.
Or were you going to say something?
Yeah, and the transporter chief... At first, I thought he was supposed to be Sulu.
Oh, I don't know.
But they gave it a different name, which I can't remember because it's that memorable.
Oh, okay.
And... I think that guy's going to be the next Chief O'Brien of the series.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. I don't know how they're really figuring out ranks or how this thing works or anything. Like, because now this is all written by Hollywood people now.
Yeah.
Because the original Star Treks were written by people who killed people in the Second World War. Yeah. You know, like James Toohan was a fighter pilot and a soldier, and of course the Gene Roddenberry was a fighter pilot as well. So like they've been through stuff. They know stuff.
Yeah, and that episode DS9 on that asteroid where they fight the Jemadar with
Yeah.
invisible landmines. That was written by a guy who was in Vietnam.
Oh, there you go. And in Ronald D. Moore, the guy who was a writer for a lot of Star Trek and DS9 and Battlestar, he was in the Navy for a few years too, so he was very familiar with how that works.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think Star Trek should necessarily be like the military. I think it should not be, because that's not the point of it.
Yeah.
But they have this sort of weird hybrid where they're both military, but they're also like people who work on film. They seem to be like Hollywood people on starships to me,
Yes.
rather than like professionals.
They're like people who only heard about the stories and never actually went through it themselves.
Yeah. But yeah, that, and also like I don't, because if they are, yeah, I don't know, because there's just a whole lot of, I found here they've punched so many people on this planet
Yeah.
that they're supposed to be like being peaceful about, and they've
Yeah.
punched and
Deceived
and
abducted.
shot and just abducted so many and that never comes up actually when it goes on. Yeah, and so they just seem like, I feel like they don't really think about, I think they want to do like this fun sci-fi stuff, and they don't really care about any of the real themes of things.
Yeah.
Except for just the emotional stuff, not the thought, not the logical stuff. It's more the emotional things.
Yeah.
And Star Trek had
I
both.
think-
But here they don't talk so much about the logical things, and they sort of really stick with the emotion.
They don't really think through the whole situation of the story.
Yeah, but I think a lot of old Star Trek was kind of very ethnocentric, like with America, and like they act very American all the time still in it.
Yeah, I
Where,
guess.
like they're the Federation, we are the Earth is the pinnacle of everything, and so is the Federation.
Yeah, 'cause I guess it was like that at the time. Like like the whole country was like super pro-America.
Yeah.
In the '60s.
But it's not just that. It's that humans figure it out, and Earth is the correct way. Like Earth is the model. It's
Yeah.
not one of the things in the galaxy. Like Earth is the model for the galaxy, and that's sort of like what this is sort of presenting Earth as well in Strange New Worlds, as the model for the galaxy rather than just part of it.
Yeah.
I'll go into a little bit more when we get into him just interrupting the meeting. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and then they go and confront the woman who's in charge of the planet.
Yeah, they find the crew.
They find,
And then it turns out the reason they have all this technology is because of them, of the Starfleet.
Oh yeah, and that's when Captain Pike decides, well, if we already sort of messed with them, then
Might as well mess with them some more.
Yeah,
Maybe
and then-
change the course of their.
and then he becomes a peacemaker, which I would assume is not what you do if you're, or should be against the values of a federation.
Oh yeah. Well, this was before the Prime Directive, like just before.
Yeah, but it sounded like, at least with this thing, the Direct Order 1 is like the same word for word as Prime Directive. They just upped the officialness of it.
Yeah.
So they knew what he wasn't supposed to do.
He did it.
He knew what he wasn't supposed to do, and he did it. Yeah.
But yeah, they confront the Prime Minister lady or whatever.
Okay, this is where it went okay for me, because she does push back, where it's like, yeah, all these you keep saying things like you should negotiate and blah blah blah, and she's like, these really just sound like platitudes. Like we're ripping ourselves apart here,
Yeah.
and our enemies, and we do not want to negotiate. So what you're saying is kind of nonsense. And I guess it is kind of proved nonsense, because she says we need a big stick in order to make peace, and then he says, well, guess what? I am the peacemaker.
I have
Like
the biggest
John
stick.
Cena. Yes, I have the biggest stick. I am John Cena from the Peacemaker. And I will put this world to right. Don't
Yeah.
you worry.
Look at my ship.
Yeah. And because that's what then happens. Then they have a little discussion, the people on the planet, and they discuss for a bit, and then Pike is up in his spaceship. So he's like talking with her. Yeah, he's like talking with his people there about the situation. I don't know, but whatever happens, then he decides that while these people are having these high-level discussions, he has the right just to beam into it
Yeah.
and then go, all right, everyone shut up. I got a story about myself to tell. And it's really good, and you all become peaceful afterwards after I tell it. And
Or
then he
else.
goes on, and then he goes on and works out his own emotional issues about his mortality in front of everybody. So as soon as Pike found an opportunity to impede themselves on the situation, he took control of the situation. He walked in on the important high-level talks without asking permission, basically showing that he has the right, because he has the bigger stick, just to walk in whenever he wants. And then he goes on to tell a stupid story about his own personal issues and works out his own fears of mortality. And then they buy it, and then everyone buys it, and everyone is happy in the end.
He creates world peace.
Creates world peace, yeah. And like this is
they shows them like the history of Earth, how like the World War III wiped out everything.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing.
This could be you.
So they made this show because people are saying that Star Trek is too pessimistic now. So this is the optimistic one, but still the world has to end before we get the good world.
Yeah.
Like we still can't escape 90% of the Earth just being wiped out.
It needs to be wiped out first.
Yeah, we're like the like when humans first like evolved in Africa, and there was like this big extinction event. There was only like a few thousand left, and that's what populated the Earth. Like that's what has to happen.
Yeah.
The old people, like they call it too Old Earth. So that's probably what happened. That like literally Old Earth was just wiped away.
Oh yeah, and then we have like the final scene when they're on the star base that has all these biomes in them.
Oh yeah, that little thingy there. Yeah.
That I guess Earth shot into space
To protect the forests.
somehow. Well, they had like the full whatever. But anyway, this is where the Admiral guy goes, you shouldn't do that anymore.
Oh yeah.
Now we're gonna make up a list of rules that tell you what you can't do to developing civilizations. We're gonna call it the Prime Directive. And then Pike goes, that'll never stick.
Oh yeah, that's
That stupid line.
horrible. But but I think they've been probably like finding different civilizations for the last 100 years now, haven't they?
Yeah.
So like, and only now have they figured out that they can't just walk in whenever they fit.
Yeah, it was like Archer from Enterprise. Archer so just decided himself that he's just not gonna interfere with the development of civilizations.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because I think it was Enterprise where they called it Direct Order 1, right, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
When they visited the planet of
General
the two
Order
species. Yeah. When there's like a sick species and a non-sick species.
When he genocided that.
Yeah,
that
I know, but that
species.
was like they actually like were like, what's the right move here? And like it wasn't actually. They actually like discussed something in that episode, and there were consequences to their decisions.
Yeah.
And not everyone left happy.
No, they were happy. Remember?
Or did they?
Yeah, like where Phlox was like, we made the right choice by not giving him the cure to this horrible disease.
Well, that's good then. Everyone's good, happy in the end.
Yeah, except for all the people who died.
But they have nothing to be worried about anymore, though.
Yeah, I guess that's true, I guess.
You hear that a lot in ancient stuff. Well, this is an aside, but yeah, I'm reading all the Herodotus stuff for this, and there's a big theme about how the luckiest people are the ones who die right after a good experience, because your fortune can always change if you keep living. Oh, actually, I said that like that's not relevant to this, but this whole series, the main theme is fate, it seems like.
Oh yeah, yes.
And yeah, so just to bring it to Herodotus, I guess, his big theme in his histories are about fate. And things like like the your luck can always change. If you're still alive and you're on top, well, that's if you're still alive, there's still a chance you can go back to the bottom again, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so, well, like in that, it's basically about how you can't escape your fate. And I don't know how they're going to explore. They're probably not going to explore it as deeply or thoughtfully as Herodotus, but
I doubt it.
Yeah, because no, the probably the real answer in the end, because it's an American show, is you can change it.
Yeah.
Is she okay, or is he just looking for attention?
No, that was a kid
Oh, okay.
outside. Not the cat. Don't worry, it's not the cat.
Oh, okay.
It's just a child in distress.
Oh, okay.
Not our cat. Okay.
Okay. Well, as I said here, I noticed that in the entire episode, Pike never bothered to learn a single custom of the culture he was talking to in the entire episode. And then he gave his sales pitch about joining Starfleet without knowing a darn thing about them.
Yeah.
Because we don't know any of their what is this race? What do they like? What do they dislike? Who are they?
Well, we just know that war is bad.
Well, they have conflicts like every other social species has. So, but like we didn't see them. We didn't see at the start of their meeting doing a customary meeting beginning, or how they begin their meetings or how they greet each other. We didn't even see how they even greeted each other,
Yeah, we don't really know anything about the civilization or about the war or about anything.
Yeah, it's like it has zero. It's all about. I think it's all about. Okay, we've got this. This is Star Trek. We have to make it like Star Trek, but we're not going to. And it's about Starfleet more than anything else. Yeah, it's only about them, and they seem to have no regard at all for the civilization they visited at all. They just punched them without any regard at all for. Because just think about it. Aliens come down, you hear about it. What did they do? They punched everybody, and they went up to the president and they gave him a lecture about how they're too warlike, and then
they told them that they could wipe them out if they wanted to.
Yeah. So then, just imagine we just saw that on television. Now we're going to go, well, I trust this Pike guy. I don't know about you. Like, are you? If Pike just came down here and punched everybody and said, "You're part of Starfleet now,"
and he has this huge city-destroying ship just hovering over us.
Yeah, like what?
Wow.
Yeah, and it's
maybe we should join this federation.
I think they had like a strange. Yeah, what was that? Was the movie called Strange New World? At the beginning of the movie with, because at the beginning of the TV show we have a clip of the movie.
Oh no, that was the day the Earth stood still.
It almost seemed like, because I think he referenced it in the show.
Yeah.
Later on, but it seems to have no real bearing on the rest of the show. Like, it doesn't fit into the themes and if it does fit into the themes, it doesn't use it at all. So I don't know why they even introduced it in the first place.
And like the theme the ending speech, like in that movie.
Yeah.
Like, he's basically saying, either you quit being so brutal or we'll destroy you all.
Oh, well, there you go. Then they did use it. Yeah. It's the first episode, but I'm assuming the caliber of the writing, they're not realizing what they're doing, but they have flashes of it. Like, even in the first Discovery, the Klingons are going to war with the Federation because they're sort of forcing their culture on everybody to enter the Federation.
So the Klingons didn't want to lose their Klingonness, and the Federation wanted to change the Klingons.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Should we wrap this up now?
Yes.
Okay, so second episode then?
Oh,
we probably don't have to stop it. We just say the second episode.
First episode, not great.
Yeah, it was kind of dumb. I'd say...
the second episode was better.
It's a better pilot. Just watch that one, because you don't need to watch the first one to watch the second one.
No.
It's more episode. That's great about episodic stuff. That's what I like about that. You can skip the bad episodes.
Yeah.
Because you can't do that with like modern shows.
No.
Because you'll miss the story. Oh yeah. So what happens in this episode then?
So the Enterprise is looking at this planet of Bronze Age civilization, or like maybe pre-Bronze Age or something like that.
Are they meant to seem kind of Kenyan as well? Because Kenya seems to be a big running theme in this series, actually.
Maybe.
The Kenyans wouldn't all be living in huts still and things like that. But
in Kenya, I don't think Kenya. I think Kenya's pretty developed.
Yeah. Well, maybe they're referencing Kenya's past or something, which would be interesting.
I don't know. Okay, so yeah, there's this planet of ancient technology people, and there's an asteroid going around it. And then we cut to there's a party at the captain's quarters.
Not your regular captain. That's what
I
meant for that. That's where I meant to say that.
And Uhura, who is a cadet and is somehow on the Enterprise.
Well, she applied apparently because there are thousands of applications.
Yeah, but do they put cadets on actual ships?
Oh yeah, because they gotta learn how to do their trade on a ship.
Like important ships that are doing important things.
If they think if they have enough potential, if they have like a really smart person, it seems like they're very capable. They'll use them. Because like you don't when you finish your cadet training, you don't just become an officer. You do on-the-job training as well.
Okay. Yeah. No, but first, Uhura is on her way to...
Or that is, your training also involves on-the-job training.
Right.
Yeah.
But Uhura is on her way to the captain's quarters for the party, and she has her dress uniform on because she was told it was a formal event.
Yeah.
Then she gets out of the elevator, and one of the other characters...
Forget who it was.
But she's like, "Hi, I tricked you." Right, so they get to the party, and then Pike is there in like casual dress, and it's like, "Oh, you were tricked."
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Come-
Well, I assume though, if it's after hours, it would be an informal thing anyway.
Yeah, but no, that was to show that this other character is a trickster.
Yeah, they were
Like,
wearing
for
their
her.
civic clothes, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess on a place like that, yeah, it's. Oh yeah, they would have civic clothes because they're there, but they make mention that it's a huge ship too as well, don't they?
Yeah.
It's like it's a tiny ship. No, not really. It's just these massive hallways.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing though. That's what's interesting because I guess spaceships in the future don't worry about the same things as shuttles going out of an atmosphere does in our time.
No, I guess not.
Because they have like a warp bubble around them that protects them from
Yeah, they have
deflector shields, so the shape of the ship doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
for
no,
how
they
fast
have
it goes.
science shields.
Yeah, they have
that protect
science
them from
shields for that. And yeah, and also like because they have replicators, metal like resources aren't a thing, so they can be as big or as small as they like.
Yep. So Uhura's there and they have like an Andorian engineer who is
Blind.
one of the blind Andorians, the Enar,
Oh yeah, were they from
From-
the north or something?
from Enterprise. Yeah.
Yeah, because I watched the last bit of Enterprise again a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's like they're blind, but they're psychic. But anyway, she sees the guy with the blind, and he's like chopping up vegetables, and she immediately goes over to him and assumes that he needs help because he's blind.
Oh, well, that's another thing where a character does a stupid thing for the sake of the plot. I guess.
Yeah.
Because the idea is that no, he's not really handicapped, and it's rude to assume that. But she would already known that though.
But
She's
yeah.
a regular person living in that society.
So it just
And
like,
and what would be like the regular etiquette? There must be regular etiquette for not for a disabled person, but for aliens, because everyone has multiple different customs, don't they?
yeah, but the thing is, like, he's not exactly disabled. It's like from like a human's point of view. He's blind.
The point is,
but-
though, he's not really disabled. Yeah.
Yeah, like from the human's point of view, is kind of blind because he can't really see because of his eyes.
Well,
but
he's disabled like a fish that can't see is disabled.
that's right, because like he has other senses that, like, he doesn't need.
His other
sight.
senses work for him. He
Like the
doesn't
reason
need-
he's blind is because he doesn't need sight.
Yeah.
Not because he's disabled.
Like if you are, did they live in the dark or something? I forget.
Yeah, they're like far up in the north,
Yeah. So if you live in
but they were underground.
if you live in dark caves, being able to see light is useless to you anyway.
Yeah.
So sight is useless.
Which I think that's like one of the themes of the episodes is you assume something is wrong from your perspective about the situation.
You assume something's one way, but you've made an assumption it's actually the other,
Yeah.
or they're not.
Except you were kind of right all along, even though
Yeah.
it's applicable. We'll get to that.
Oh yeah. So, but then and then there's. Oh yeah, Uhura's like, yeah, I'm here because I'm running away from my past, like
Right.
half of Starfleet is, I guess.
Yeah, they gave her a tragic backstory.
Because apparently even Picard now, like he ran away from home or something.
Yeah.
Well, the whole point was to run away from his troubles.
Yeah, because like Uhura, like her parents wanted her to be in Starfleet, and then their parents died in a shuttle accident. Which again, why take shuttles in this world when we have transporters?
Yeah, other than if you're going from Mars to Earth, but I don't think that was the case. I think they were like saying going from like
They
a
were-
ship to the. But yeah, you can probably still transport within the solar system, can't you? Or how close do you need to be to transport?
I think you have to be like orbiting the planet.
That's still okay, so thousands of kilometers, not millions.
Yes.
Okay.
But I think I was assuming like the shuttle was like a car, like they were just like flying somewhere else on Earth.
Yeah, no, I assume that's what I meant, but like, yeah,
Like,
otherwise a
crash into
shuttle.
another
You
shuttle or something.
Oh, in the future, do you think everyone could have their own shuttle then? And you would just bomb off to Mars or just around the empty space and fly around?
Maybe.
Because then, if you have like unlimited resources, everyone should be able to have a car. And I'm assuming it's just automatically
Uh-huh.
going to be good. Like It's automatic because it's the future. They figure it out to be in harmony with the environment, so it's probably not going to hurt the environment. So everyone should be able to have a show.
Yeah, like if you had replicators, that would solve a lot of problems.
Well, and it did. That was all. I think that's. Well, I don't know if they say it specifically, but that's obviously how you get a future like Star Trek is by having replicators and no one starves.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on.
And then they discover that this comet is actually going to hit the planet full of people.
We're going to talk a bit about Uhura and Spock, though. So, like, she tells her backstory. He's like, I don't really want to be here. I'm just running away from stuff. And then Spock layers on, like, well, you know what? Everyone worked really hard to get here, so if you don't like it here, maybe you should leave. And, I don't know, that just seemed weird. Well, because she is the best applicant, though. So, like, why does it matter if she really wants to be there or not? She's there to do the job.
Well, it kind of does. I mean, yeah, like, there's plenty of other people who are equally...
I guess so, but, like, questioning motivations when you're still just doing your job, it seems like, why don't you just let me do my job and not question my purity about the thing? I don't know, because it feels like
why, if you don't really want to be here, why are you here? Like, there's so many other people who would like to be there, so if you don't want to be here,
well, she didn't say she hated being there. Like, she loves language and everything else. She likes the job she's doing. It's just that it doesn't matter if she's doing it at Starfleet or on Earth.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if there's like,
well, here's my real problem with it, because they have a lot of Starfleet reverence in this show, where like Starfleet can never do wrong and it's always right and perfect. And I feel, because it's an American, if this was a British show, it'd be entirely different. But it's all like, Americans are weird, man. They hate authority, but they worship it at the same time. So like, I just don't understand.
You're the right kind of authority or something.
Yeah.
Well, no, that just sort of has to do with like the human.
But then at the same time, it's like, why does Starfleet have rules when everyone just breaks them all the time too? Like, I don't really understand how Starfleet even functions actually properly, because apparently usually all their admirals are corrupt too in the '90s series. Yeah. But everyone's just always so like.
Well, it just has to do with like human instinct.
And even in the '90s series, everyone is like, you gotta join Starfleet. Everyone assumes you're just going to join Starfleet. At least in DS9. His kid was, at least Sisto's kid was like, I don't want to be in Starfleet. I want to be a reporter.
But like I was trying to say, it has to do with human instinct of like forming hierarchies.
Oh, okay.
Even though they hate authority, they like to worship authority at the same time, because like humans need to have some kind of hierarchical structure with it, whatever group they form.
Yeah.
And so they find out that this comet is actually is headed towards the planet and is going to impact and destroy all life on this planet. So what they decide to do is destroy this asteroid. So they shoot it with their torpedoes, and they discover that there's an energy field around this comet. Turns out that this comet is not actually a comet. It is a comet, but there's like alien technology inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
So they go over because this is the kind of shields that you can't shoot it, but you can walk right through it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or transport through it. Yeah. And then the shepherds come and say, stop messing with our comet, but it's not a comet. It's called something special.
The Moa Deep.
Yeah.
Or something.
And at least in this one, Pike does make an effort to say the proper name, not just the comet.
Yeah, see, he was being nice about it.
Yeah, this time, yeah. Well, that's because they had bigger guns, actually, this time.
Yeah, they
didn't really have a choice.
They had the bigger
exactly
stick.
Exactly how it works, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So they get their people on there, and it turns out there's like this big egg-shaped thing in the middle of a big room. Mm-hmm. And also, one of the officers on there is Kirk's brother.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know what that's about.
Anyway, so
it doesn't really matter that he's Kirk's brother either. He's just a character.
Yeah, there's really no point to that at all.
Yeah.
Just sort of like a reference to original series. And
yeah, because he gets killed by brain bugs or something.
Yes.
Later on.
So Kirk's
Oh, he's
brother.
the brother who also steals the car.
So
or
Kirk-
doesn't steal the car.
Yeah.
And you see him, he has one scene in Star Trek 2009 where he's on the road hitchhiking. That's
Ah.
Kirk's brother.
That's supposed to be his brother?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because
Okay.
they cut out where Kirk and his brother are going to steal the car, but Kirk's brother's like, no, I don't want to steal the car. And Kirk's like, well, then I'll steal it. And then
Okay.
you see him. Anyway, that's just an aside.
So yeah, Kirk's brother just like goes up to this big egg and starts messing around with it, and then the egg shoots him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's her ticking clock for the episode. Or another ticking clock.
And then...
Because he's dying now and he has to get back to the ship. But apparently this comet decided to not let them go.
Yeah. And it has a predetermined course, and the shepherds
Yes.
are making sure that no one interferes with it, and its course is head directly towards a planet with millions of people on it. who are
Yes,
about
so
to
these
die.
shepherds, they are like tasked with making sure...
Nurse Chapel isn't my girlfriend.
Oh,
That's what Spock says.
yeah.
Nurse Chapel is not my girlfriend.
That's... So these shepherds, they
It's unrelated, but that's what he says when they're in the comet.
Yeah.
Because
So
I
they
don't know,
have-
I just really like that line.
So they have to make sure that the will of the comet is done. And if it's the will of the comet to hit the planet and kill all those people, then that is what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it leaves them alone, then that is also what will happen.
Yeah.
But so then Uhura, like for the whole most of the episode, she's like, "Oh, I can't do the, I can't communicate with the thing because I don't think I'm that good." But then Spock comes up and tells her, "No, you are actually that good." She's
And
like,
Nurse Chapel is not
"Oh
my
yeah,
girlfriend.
I am that good." Wait, and your Chapel's not my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because Uhura, when she gets nervous, she hums.
Yeah, yeah.
And she starts humming at the egg, and then the egg starts humming back at her. And they discover that it communicates through music.
She arouses the egg with music.
Yes.
And yeah, they have a conversation, I guess, or something.
So they figure. She tells the egg to let them go, and it does.
Oh, I liked it when they were talking to the. Here they did advance it a little bit with translation. So they're talking to the other guy, the shepherd guy, and then he says like a word, and it's like oh, I wish I wrote that word down. But anyway, like it's basically that word could have several different meanings that he uses, and so the translation's a little imperfect. So it's sort of a neat little detail where it's like, how would universal translators really work? How would they actually get the real meaning when, say, the language it's translating into doesn't have any words that can translate the word that the other person used?
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting. And they don't really look at that at all. It's just a quick device, so they don't have to bother with.
Yes.
But it's interesting. It's an interesting little thing to look at.
So yeah, now they're back at the ship, but the asteroid's still headed towards the planet. So Pike first tries to like mess with it, and then the shepherd ship is like, "If you do that again, we'll destroy you."
Yeah.
Because the will of the comet must be done.
Oh yeah, and he
And then-
also said like our race doesn't even remember when we were given the mantle to protect the shepherds. They've just been doing it forever,
Yeah.
which I found interesting because
Yeah, that was kind of.
well, what I found interesting is that if you look back at a lot of our long-standing traditions that began when we don't know when it began, it really just began like a couple hundred years ago.
Mhm.
Like all our Christmas traditions were like
Yeah.
invented by Charles Dickens 200 years ago. Well, I'm wondering if it's like, yeah, they just sort of forgot like 200 years ago. Like
Yeah.
someone just accidentally hooked up with this comet and got stuck with the job.
Yeah. But anyway, like,
Or someone just like lied for fun and then tricked somebody.
probably. Yeah. But Pike's like, ugh, these religious nuts.
Yeah.
Ugh. We don't need to listen to them
This had actually
because they're crazy. They're religious. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then, so what they do is they're like, hey, you know what? We promised we wouldn't touch the comet. Let's make them touch the comet to get us that.
I hate that stupid lawyer words.
Yeah. But so yeah, then there's an action scene where like the Enterprise is like the ship's like shooting at them, and the Enterprise is like,
All right.
and it does a barrel roll,
I understand.
and then it
Oh, yeah.
like that. I remember like in the original series, like the ships they were like how big they are, you kind of felt that on screen with like how very slowly they like turned and moved.
Yeah, and they're just floating through.
Like
that.
especially you see it in Wrath of Khan, where like the ships like they weren't like flying around and like doing maneuvers and shooting and all that.
Well,
They were sort of
but
just,
here's
like,
the kind
very
of
slowly move and maneuver around like very. They're like huge things that had weight, and even though
which
space
is
weight,
that's what I'm saying. Ironically, maybe that's how it would move in space anyway, because it has.
Well,
no
it's
weight.
like wouldn't there be like some kind of there'd be some
There's
kind
no
of,
resistance.
Like, well, not resistance, but like even like just
No
turning,
slowdown.
Turning too quickly, wouldn't that?
Well,
like, move
turning
us
too quickly,
on?
what would happen is probably you would just keep going the same direction as you turn.
Yeah, but I mean on the inside.
Oh, your stomach would twist.
Yeah.
Oh no,
If
no,
the
wait,
ship
it wouldn't,
moved-
because you're standing on gravity. I think so. The center of, like when you're in a car. No, you feel it when it turns though.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know that.
Yeah, so it should be like
But-
if it moves like that, it should be like all the people inside should be jelly.
I'm going to say this though. I really like the new special effects on the shields though. I think that's clever.
I guess.
Well, no, because like the reason why it's a big bubble in the original series is because, well, that's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
But here, because we have modern technology, whenever like an asteroid hit the shield, then a little like shield thing would sort of spread out. And I really liked that scene too. That's what I liked about this episode is that it was a good movie, I guess. It had like nice. I liked how it was shot. I liked the action in it, and I liked. It was shot a lot, but I think it looked better than the first season or the first episode, where it was all very bland and flat.
Yeah.
First episode, and then the second one, there's a lot more shadows and darkness in it and glossiness because it's they're in space by a comet, so it's a lot darker the lighting in that episode than
Okay.
the previous one.
Yeah. And so yeah, the plan is that they get past the Shepherd ship and now they're like in like around the comet. They get really inside the comet. And then they like power down and pretend that they're damaged. So they're like, "Hey, alien ship, can you help us out, please?" And they're like, "Why should I help you out? You desecrated our sacred comet. Why should I help you?" All right, well we'll blow up the comet then.
Yeah, that's
Huh.
basically what it came
Yeah,
down.
either help us or we'll blow up the comet.
Like he
With our-
uses a lot of like words, but that's what he meant.
Yeah. So of course they tractor beam them or something, but what the real plan was, they had Spock in a shuttle fly next to the comet as it broke apart, and that somehow changed its trajectory.
Yeah, I didn't really catch it. I just all of a sudden like they were flying through stuff. All of a sudden, all right,
Yeah.
missed. Oh, okay.
And then Spock laughs
Oh yeah, for some.
because
It's so ridiculous.
sometimes the situation is so much out of hand, you just have to laugh.
Yeah, that was his emotional moment for the day.
Yeah. So yeah, so the comet misses the planet, and then the shepherds are like, "Oh, okay, well, you can go now.
Yeah,
We're done here. The episode's over. You can go. We're friends now." The comet said it didn't want to destroy the planet, so okay, we're good.
well, I kind of liked that where it was because these like arrogant Starfleet guys were like, "We gotta save this thing. It doesn't matter what these other guys say. We can't let these guys die on the planet."
Wow.
But then it turns out, well, yeah, you tried to mess with us, but it's nature had to take its course. You can't just change everything because you don't like it.
So
Well, because I feel like they should be taking them down a notch a bit sometimes. To actually explore their ideas and not just assume they're correct all the time.
well, yeah, that's kind of like the last thing they say is like, maybe next time you'll think before you judge someone else's faith.
Yeah.
The shepherds.
Well, but
from-
no, that's the real thing. Like they didn't really know what it wanted or what it was going to do, right? Which makes it fair, like why they wanted to stop it. But it's not that they tried to stop it. It's just that they felt like they are the ones who are the arbiters of everything in the universe, basically. You know?
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
So these aliens, they tell Pike,
Yeah.
tell him that you shouldn't judge people
Mm-hmm.
based on their faith.
Yeah.
But these are the people who, like, they, with all this technology, they are more advanced.
Mm.
And they, like, look down on the Pike and his puny little enterprise.
Yeah, they were the Starfleet in this situation,
Yes.
deciding what's right and not right.
But yeah,
Because they
were
had the bigger
ones-
stick.
Yeah, they had the, and then they
Oh, okay.
were perfectly happy to let this comet, their magic god comet, destroy this planet and wipe out like a whole civilization of people. And they had like no problems with that because that's what the comet willed.
Yeah, you're right. And they never questioned it. It's only after like they talked. Well, the comet didn't change its mind, but they learned that you can actually like talk to the comet.
Yeah.
If you try.
But there was Pike, like, sure, he was like being kind of dismissive, like, oh, they're religious nuts, but he was like talking them, pleading with them
Yeah.
to, hey, why don't we find a better solution here?
Yeah.
How about we make it so both the comet and the people can live?
You know, that's really interesting because now you're making it sound like to me like this is the other side of the coin to the first
Yeah.
episode where the Starfleet, he was Starfleet and then he was in charge of making all the decisions, and then it switched around where now he's the under civilization and the other guys are deciding things for him.
Yeah, like he's telling him, like, well, what right do you have to decide this?
There you
Like,
go.
why do you get to just allow these people to die for something that you don't even fully understand?
All right, maybe you've convinced me. Maybe the show may not be too bad then.
Well, but no, well, kind of, because at the end of the episode, like the more advanced shepherds, they were like, hey, you puny little humans, don't make assumptions about other people's faith. And then Pike was like, yeah, you're right, I shouldn't. Next time I'll just let the comet destroy all those people.
Yeah.
Next time I won't interfere.
Well, he probably will though, because it's the next episode.
Yeah, but no,
Yeah,
it's like
storyline.
it's like the resolution of the episode was
Yeah.
like, yeah, let
Yeah.
let all those innocent people die over someone's faith that
Yeah,
they're not even
well,
aware of.
But here's the other thing. So we'll continue with this thing is that now the shepherds or the comet are the Starfleet of this episode. What happens is we don't know what this comet is, right?
Uh-huh.
Or why it has any authority for anything, and yet it gives water to this planet and makes it greener. A planet that is not used to this environment.
Yeah, like
and not necessarily I'm talking about the environment will be screwed up. I'm saying that humans won't know how to live in this new world, and it'll be it'll be like a huge era of conflict just trying to live in this new world.
Yeah. But another thing they had in the episode was, like, after being talked down to by the superior shepherd peoples, turns out all of this was preordained by the comet.
Yeah, because they said that.
Yeah, apparently the comet knew the future.
Yeah.
And that Spock was meant to divert it from the planet and give it water instead of destroy it.
Well, actually,
Which
I think,
means,
yeah.
had the Enterprise just said, okay, we respect your beliefs and let the comet destroy the planet, then the whole thing about the intention of the comet would have been like bypassed, and they would have just both died.
So fate is inescapable then.
Well, that's the thing that kind of like messes with the message of the episode.
Well, to be honest, I don't know what the message yet is, because unless they're going to change, they're saying that history changes. Christopher Pike is going to become what he becomes.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I know they had like that was the message they wanted, but it was so badly written that they kind of just debunked their own message.
Yeah, but yeah. So actually, so that's what I was talking about. This show may be about colonialism, and it doesn't even know it. Where it's like, for some reason, this superior civilization goes around giving beneficiaries, like benefiting other planets with its water and life-giving substances. But who says he's right? It's right to do that. He's not going to mess everything up by doing that. And what gave it the right to do that? Because because the people living on that planet are designed to live on that planet the way it is. Like with Egypt, it used to be a green pasture, and they all did animal husbandry, and then the world changed, and then it became a desert, and all the water was in the Nile, and then so everyone had to. The resources
Well-
became far less, far more conflict as everyone tried to get land inside the Nile area.
Well, they kind of sort of just hand-waved that away by just saying, "Oh, this water is going to
But that's-
increase the crops, and it's going to make everything good and happy."
That's why I think this is about colonialism and doesn't know it, where it's like people will come in there going, we know what's right and we know we can help you and we have to help you because
But-
your situation is too dire, even though you're just living here the way you're living here usually.
But also, it was the shepherds that were wrong, because the comet preordained that Spock would interfere.
yeah.
Okay, well the thing is that they were just going off on Pike about how you shouldn't judge other people's faith, but the comet wanted Spock.
To judge the faith.
No, not judge it, to be there and move it out of the way.
Yeah.
So again, if the shepherds had their way, they would have killed off their comet god,
Yeah.
and they would have could have did the opposite of what it wanted.
Well, yeah, because like they have
But it's like
must be related. Go ahead.
well, yeah, like maybe it should have been the other way around. Like maybe you shouldn't be so blindly faithful
Yeah.
that you like beyond reason. Like you throw out
So maybe
reason.
everyone learned a lesson today.
No, only Pike learned the
Oh,
lesson.
only Pike did.
He learned to just let planets
Civilizations
die.
get blown
Yeah,
up by comets.
yeah.
All right, so... Oh, yeah, so the last little thing I was going to say is that they did have time crystals in the second season, so I wonder if this is related to time crystals, the whole thing they were talking about.
Probably.
Maybe it's powered by a time
Well,
crystal
yeah.
or something.
Like again, we had that thing about fate and like,
Yeah.
can you change it and all that.
All right, so do you want to... I think I already kind of... Yeah, let's wrap it up then.
Okay.
So I enjoyed this episode more, mainly because of the action of it and the look of it. And the story wasn't too bad, actually. I think I liked it a lot more than the first one.
Yeah, it was.
They
Better
didn't
than,
have the same stupid for the sake of the plot stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, it was better than the first one, but it did have a stupid ending.
Yeah, if you don't like the ending. Well, I like the endings as much as I like the special effects when it was flying.
So I guess the third act was kind of really stupid,
I don't even know how many acts they have in these anymore.
or whatever you want to call it.
Well, no, because
Last
like they
10
had like
minutes.
5 acts back in the day because that's how many commercial breaks
Yeah,
you had. So I
yes.
don't know how they work it now.
But yeah, no, it's had a confusing and dumb message
But
that debunked itself.
yeah, I will watch the third episode,
Yeah, I guess I'll continue watching.
and not for the sake of it just being because Picard's in it, like with Picard, but
Yeah.
because it's because there's nothing else really. So I'll just watch it.
Yeah, I guess I will too because I need content for my channel.
Yeah. All right.
And,
Well,
I'll say it's not unbearably bad.
no, it's 150% better than Picard.
Yeah, I think I'd go that far. Well, maybe.
It's 100% is that it's acceptable, and 50% that it's like it has stuff in there that I like. So it's 150. Like Picard was like negative a billion. This is 150% better than that.
Okay.
It's 150% better than a negative a billion.
And I guess they're not really destroying any characters in this one,
Uh,
except for Pike.
he wasn't really a character anyway. So it's an okay character to destroy because he didn't have a character.
Well, no, but he was.
Well, there's
in,
nothing to destroy.
The cage, the original pilot.
Oh, I guess so, but yeah, it's just one
Which
episode.
where he wasn't
and nobody really.
a different kind of captain. He was actually like a stern leader.
So yeah,
So yeah, I give it a not all the way thumbs down.
okay. I would say I would not recommend it if you're just a regular person or a person
Yeah.
who enjoys Star Trek. But if you're a person who wants something with spaceships in it and kind of looks like Star Trek, there's worse things like Picard. So.
Yeah. Okay.
It has like ranks in there, and it has uniforms and aliens, and all the what do you call it? All the surface level stuff of Star Trek.
Yeah. But it's still like Kurtzman writing, so it's
Yeah.
Just be aware of that.
Yeah.
Oh, also, this is the Enterprise from end of Star Trek 4.
Yeah, so it'll be the main one in Star
5.
Trek 5 and 6.
So this is the one that was broken. Remember at the beginning of
Oh yeah, where it
5,
wasn't working properly. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was rocket boots in that episode.
Yeah, rocket boots. Yeah, and they got away. Well, they didn't get away from the bad guy, did they?
No, it did.
Spock knocked himself out, and
No, it was Scotty knocked himself out because.
My friends, we've come home. What's the matter, Jim? I miss my old chair.
So is this from Star Trek 5 then?
Engine room, we'll need all the power you can muster, mister.
It's kind of generic.
Yeah, this is from 5. And this, of course, is Enterprise D. This is from Diamond Select. These guns, these guys. And this is Enterprise D from Next Generation.
Did you get these today, or are these your old ones?
No, these are my old ones. I had these for a long time.
Yeah, that's a good looking one. Isn't it?
So yeah, I like this one a lot. Oh, and has the bonus saucer separation. So like the saucer part comes off and has its own little stand.
Yeah. Oh, so you can Battle bridge.
Like it's magnetic.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the problem with this one is like, because it has the two stands, so you can only give it one pose. Like, it can't really be like a dynamic or anything. It can only just sort of sit there like that. But well, this one,
Oh, one has two stands. Yeah.
this one has just the one, and it sort of has like a tight attachment, so you can like, have it sort of
Yeah.
more
yeah.
dynamic look, where it's like, going up.
Yeah,
against the
different
sky like that.
angles of it. Yeah.
Do angles or like do a dive or something like that. And just, yeah. Well, it gives them a more dynamic look. These are better than the show, by the way.
Yeah.
This happens. Well, I haven't seen any toys for the new Trek,
No.
like at all.
Oh,
which is kinda
Diamond
weird.
Select does have new ships of the new Trek though,
Oh, okay.
but
Never
no
mind.
people. I don't think.
Okay. But yeah.
It's a machine gun.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. There.
Spitting all over you.
Spitting on me. Well, I can do a
Rat
barrel
tat
roll.
tat tat tat. Rat tat 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 tat. Rat tat tat tat. This is no. This is the like the phasers, the rifle phasers, I guess. All right. So yeah, I think everything should be okay as long as none of the ships fly into the camera. I think we can end this soon, hey?
Yeah, just make sure none of these ever go right into the... Oh,
Ah!